Good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot and Chakra News. This is a joint podcast coming to you from Chakra News and Gunner Shot. Right. Having said that, the question before us is Iran trumping US or the headline says it all, Iran trumps US. And to join me in this discussion is Sandeep Unnithan after a long time. And welcome back, Sandeep. You've been very busy with the India Today conclave. So
True.
first, give us
Yes,
an idea of what you were doing there, and then we'll get to Trump.
absolutely. Good evening, General Shankar. Good evening to all our viewers. Thank you for being patient. It's been 2 weeks since we convened this joint podcast, and as General Shankar said, that I've been busy. I've actually been all over television and our digital platforms, and of course, Chakra News, which is my primary channel. And I've actually been watching a lot of General Shankar's thing. His gunner shot has been firing non-stop. There have been non-stop artillery barrages. But but here, so we had a very interesting India Today conclave. I also consult with India Today. I'm a consultant there, and we had a very interesting conclave, which, as all of you who've seen it on television and on the digital platforms, it was a lot about the Iran war. You had both sides, of course. You had the US side, you had the Israeli side, and the Iranian side there. So a lot of in the middle of one of the most intense conflicts of the 21st century. And that's the reason we're here to talk to you all about that. And of course, who else but General Shankar to throw more light on the way ahead, where we are at this 15-day mark in the conflict, and what is the road ahead. That's what we're going to be discussing. Thank you once again for joining us. This is Sandeep Unnithan from New Delhi, General Shankar from Chennai, and to all of our viewers, wherever in the world you are, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. And with that, sir, let's start. Where are we?
Yep.
What is the situation on the ground 15 days after this conflict?
Yeah, to summarize, look, this conflict started on 28th February. It started off with a exchange of blows, counterforce blows.
Yes.
Both USA and Israel were targeting Iran's military infrastructure and a lot of civilian infrastructure too.
And the leadership,
And,
of course.
and the leadership. And we saw Iran responding on military targets. That was the first phase, 2 days or intense exchange. And then, of course, we saw a shift in what Iran was doing. It started targeting the Gulf countries.
Yes.
And the region, West Asia, went hit as far away as Turkey and beyond. Even Azerbaijan, a lot of strikes all around. Right, it started hitting a lot of civilian infrastructure in the Gulf countries, and they've changed the game, to become a political game. We all know that USA wanted regime change. Here, there's a question of regime survival. But in the past 3 days, 4 days, Iran has changed the game again.
Right.
Surprisingly, in this whole story, America has the initiative being the first mover, but it is Iran which is changing the story.
Right.
That's the interesting part which I find in this campaign. Now they have zeroed down to the whole story is about oil. Hindi में बोले तो तेल का खेल है ये पूरा.
तेल का खेल. So General Shankar, very quickly, there are दो तेल के खेल हैं. One is of course the one that you said, the Hindi one, तेल oil, तेल का खेल. Iran is playing the TEL, tail ka khel. That is transporter erector launcher ka khel. Launching missiles, ballistic missiles. And drones. So there are two tail ka khel here.
Oh yeah. In the first one, America has, hit Iran quite hard. The number of launches from Iran are low.
Yeah.
Today, I think they've carried out the 54th wave of attacks. They call it a wave of attack, but that wave could be just 2 rockets, 3 rockets.
They're launching ballistic. Sajil, I think the last one they're saying.
Sajil, that's the one which they're showing in big.
The solid fueled
solid fuel one.
Yes.
So, well, they'll get hits. After all, you can't just stop a ballistic launcher always, right? And so they are getting hits and they're wounding, Israel and USA.
Yeah.
Let's not have doubts. Of course, they're taking tremendous punishment.
Hmm.
Whatever Iran does, maybe 10 times they're getting it back.
Right.
Okay, or whatever. So that there's no match in force to force
Yeah.
match is
Yeah.
not there. It's completely
Yeah.
outmatched. They're weakened. Their leadership doesn't exist. Their command and
Right.
control is broken.
Yeah.
But they've gone into autonomous cells. They're operating independently. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
dissonance between the leadership and their people who are executing on ground. But the interesting thing, and I think from here on, that will be the story. The story is oil. Already, oil prices have gone beyond 100
Crossed
or
100. Yes.
across 100, and gas is a problem all over the world. So, and Iran has closed the Hormuz Strait. No ships are passing. They say ships can pass, but hardly any ships are passing. I think the only ships which they said can pass and have passed are the two Indian ships which have come.
Two Indian gas
Others
ships.
are,
Yes.
others are going either with transponder closed or taking risks. As far as USA is concerned, USA was also conscious of the fact that the whole story is about oil. And the
Yes.
only last straw with the last arrow with USA, a strategic arrow, is to get hold of Iran's oil. If
Yeah.
they can get hold of Iran's oil, then economically they can beat down Iran.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what the story is. It's like a revolving door phenomenon. One is going
Right.
for the Strait of Hormuz, he's not letting it go, and
Yeah.
other is going for the Karg oil terminal
Yeah.
and Iran's oil assets. In the process, Dubai and UAE have been hit badly. And the way Iran has gone about it is they've hit UAE and Saudi Arabia in a manner that, and their ports, which is Fujairah and all that, in a
Yeah.
manner they're forcing the oil flow only through the Strait of Hormuz, which they blocked. They're giving no other
Okay.
escape route.
Right.
If you see, Fujairah is on the Gulf of Oman. There's this
Oh.
pipeline from Habshan to Fujairah, which
Right.
bypasses Hormuz. They have started hitting Fujairah to oil. I wouldn't say
Okay.
to
So they're
oil.
basically narrowing the thing. They're bringing
Yeah,
the thing back to
back
Hormuz. I didn't note
Hormuz.
that point. Yes. Yes. That's
Right,
a very
and
interesting.
even I guess the next outlet for Saudi Arabia is the East-West pipeline, which comes from
Yeah.
Quraysh. It goes down to Yanbu
Yanbu.
across the
On the
desert
Red Sea. Yeah.
on the Red Sea. So they might start targeting that. In fact, how see in this whole thing, interestingly, Saudi Arabia is the least affected of the Gulf countries in terms of oil revenues because that East-West pipeline
Pipeline.
is still
Yeah.
not fully loaded. They
Right.
still have capacity now, and if that
Okay.
capacity is taken up, Saudi Arabia will. I mean, like everyone here, there's going to be a problem, but it will not be that much for them. So Iran might start targeting that pipeline any day now.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. So I think this is the story at this point of time. We know that one set of Marines in USS Tripoli are coming towards the Gulf from the
Yeah.
Indo-Pacific. It'll take a
They're in
week
the
or
South
so.
China Sea right now. USS Tripoli.
Yeah,
I was
the
just
South
checking.
China Sea.
They
By the
entered
time
the
they
South
come in,
China
it'll
Sea.
take another 4 5 days minimum. That's the
A week.
minimum.
A week
Week, and
max. A
by the
week.
time they get applied, it'll be another 3 4 days. It's not
Right.
going to be in a hurry.
So it's about 10
So
days. Yeah.
yeah, so that means this war is going to go on till then.
2 weeks. At
Mm,
least another 2 weeks.
2 weeks. In the meanwhile, we have seen Mr. Trump has given out a call to others
Yeah.
to join in the fray, and that's a smart move, actually, in my way of looking at it. And why? Because in the morning I saw it as a Trump call for other nations. Today evening I see posts coming out as a multinational effort
Right.
against
Right.
Iran. So there is a thing, and if you look at it, if these multinational forces do come into this, then Iran gets politically isolated,
Okay.
whether together or otherwise. So interesting times. This is where we are. Take on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, solid opening there, General Shankar, and I think that uh, whichever way this conflict is headed. So very quickly, to add to what your opening
Yeah, please go ahead.
statement
I
was
want you
that
to tell your view.
the US-Israeli plan was decapitation, a regime collapse, and that the people of Iran would rise up. Right. So I think the Iranians handled that part, despite the loss of the supreme leader Khamenei and 30, 40 leaders that were killed. I mean, all in one go. What were they doing, meeting together in a time like this? Despite that, they've continued, and that mosaic strategy of theirs has, held. They've continued fighting. So the initial objectives of the US-Israeli thing have not been met, and I think they went into this operation very clearly. This, Epic Fury and Roaring Lion. These were meant to be, my senses, 48-hour, 72-hour operations, because the forces they accumulated suggested it was a purely air driven effort that will shape the thing on the ground. And now they've realized that, oh, now it's going to be a war of attrition, so therefore they're having to fly in all their assets. More bombers are coming in. Bombers are being staged through Fairford in the UK. They're bringing that amphibious assault group. So, while we talk about the invasion of, there's talks of boots on ground as well. We'll talk about that a little while later. So I think initial thing, there was complete confusion in the sense that they did not achieve the objectives that they wanted to. They have destroyed the Iranian Air Force, the Iranian Navy. But Iran's strength was never its Air Force nor its Navy. It has always been the missiles and the drones. I mean, that is, they have literally introduced this Shahid 136, or rather, I should say, reintroduced it to the world, because Shahids we've been seeing as the Geran in the Russia-Ukraine war. But because that war was, limited essentially to two countries, to Russia and the Ukraine, the world did not see it in that sense. But now, when Shahids are going all the way across the GCC belt, they've fired something like 2,000 of those Shahids. It's an incredible number, and it's actually a low figure judging by what has already been expended by the Russian Federation and Ukraine. But despite that, the Iranians have woken the world up to the power of this $30,000 platform, and the cost asymmetry: $3 million interceptors versus $30,000 drones. That is there, of course. But so initially, I think there was a bit of a confusion. They did not anticipate that Iran would retaliate this way, and it would continue fighting for 2 weeks, which is what I think now we are seeing. Phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 coming in. They're decided to expand the conflict, and my sense is that they are trying to get Iran to expend all its missiles, and at the same time, simultaneously destroy all of their missile launch capabilities, particularly the launchers, targeting the missile cities, targeting the launchers, thereby bringing down their ability to target the GCC belts. Over to you, General Shankar.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think USA thought it will be a cakewalk,
Yeah.
but the walk was not over a cake. It was far from that.
Over a
And
minefield, I would say.
And Iran has proved to be resilient.
Yeah.
Let's not have any doubts about it. But also, in a way, look at it from what Iran has suffered. That they don't have a leadership. Their economy is
Tremendously, there's
shattered.
no doubt. Yeah.
After all, their economy was shattered in the last May war itself, and now more punishment.
Yeah.
They're going to be militarily weak. So, whichever way you look at it, whether Trump declares a victory or not, or whether there's a political victory for Iran, Iran will emerge from this very weak. And
Right.
a weak Iran will generate its own instability in that area. All right. And we can discuss that till the cows come
Sure.
home. I have no doubts about that. Yeah, USA is also stuck. It's got into a bargain which it didn't bargain.
Yeah.
It didn't. Yeah. Now they
Trump,
have to
the first American president not to start any wars. I've in
war and
fact
all.
ended wars. I've ended 8 or 10 or 12. I don't know. I lost count of it after a while.
Yeah.
But in 2026, he's joined the ranks with the rest of the American
Alright.
presidents who
Yeah, yeah.
jumped into a war. And very
And
quickly, two big things that are coming up, two milestones that are coming up, which would be weighing on Trump's mind. One is April
yeah,
2026, the meeting with Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
Can he afford to go to meet Xi Jinping while his forces are still enmeshed in conflict with Iran? That's one. The
Hmm.
second big date, to my mind, 4th of July 2026, 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's take on the first one,
Yeah.
whether he'll be able to go and meet Xi Jinping in April. I think he will.
He will look him in the eye.
Oh, yeah, more than that. Look, if I can identify a real loser in this war, it is China.
Why do you call China a loser? He's not been fighting. He's
Yeah,
maybe
that's why he's lost.
his few nines have taken a beating, but apart from that, he's
Look, it's not that. In the first phase, first 3, 4 days, 5 days, in fact, about 6, 7 days, it was very clear that China was helping Iran with, intelligence and satellite reconnaissance and inertial guidance systems and all that,
yeah,
navigation and all that.
yeah.
But all of a sudden, that talk has gone. That ship is no more there, or it is no one is talking of that, spy ship of China which
No,
was
I
hanging
think the
around.
spy ships are there because Damien Simon has been tracking these, and he says that in fact a third ship has entered the.
Maybe okay, but they have not been active. There's
All right,
not much talk of it, and I'll tell you why. The fundamental reason.
right,
You see, China was supporting Iran, fine.
yeah,
Iran
yeah,
became active, and they started hitting all over.
right,
Now, hitting all over was to China's detriment. As a result, they have closed Strait of Hormuz, which means
yeah,
China is stuck without its own oil. Hitting other Gulf countries where China has huge interest, BRI
mm,
interest, is
yeah,
against China.
right,
And and everyone now knows China was helping Iran. So what will
yeah,
be the response of all the Gulf countries when China comes says, "Oh, we want to do projects here"? One, a very major thing. The second major thing is this: China is a one-trick pony now.
okay,
It has to export. If it doesn't export, it's gone. Please understand that.
mm,
And its exports today to USA are gone. EU is also not interested in Chinese exports. You are not interested, the big buyers, right?
right,
The Middle East, which got money, is no more, will not have money now. They'll all their economies will start contracting.
right,
Recovery mode. Why will they buy anything from China? Okay, I mean they'll buy the basics, but there'll be a drop in their exports. Who else will this thing with the way the global oil prices and
yeah,
inflation are going? Many countries will stop buying Chinese stuff. They will
okay,
see everyone will look at contracting imports.
yeah,
So I mean it's not against China. They'll say why should I buy import so much? So if that is
right,
the case, they'll first the axe will fall on China, isn't it?
mm,
And who will buy? African countries. So as a result, China's exports are today at stake. Not many people realize this. This is probably a little over the horizon.
right,
And when that happens, China is going to get hit very hard. And that is why I say that Xi Jinping has got all the trumps with him. Not Xi Jinping. Trump has got all the trumps with him when he meets Xi Jinping.
right, right. No, but
And Xi
and
Jinping,
very quickly to our viewers, this is a point that General Shankar raised again last year in December, where he said that Trump's move on Venezuela is actually to curtail the source of cheap oil to China. China was importing its three biggest oil. It
yeah,
imports
yeah.
11 million barrels a day. Russian Federation, Venezuela, and Iran, the three largest suppliers. Venezuela is out as of now. Iran also is in jeopardy. It's only getting oil from Russia, a lot of it. But
No,
so
even
that's
Russia. See, the thing is, Russia is no more giving discount oil.
yeah, no discounted oil. That's right.
So that's a big difference. He was
Yeah,
getting, Chinese chaps were getting oil from Russia at $50 a barrel. That's gone. Now
Yeah,
it's 90 to 100.
90 to
So,
100. So he's paying double.
whichever way you look at it, China has gone to hit. Some buffoon has said, he's talking nonsense. Right? And about this discussion, and China has rare metals. See, rare earth metals and all won't work at this point of time. The bigger problem for China is internal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not understood, if you people, those of you who are watching this don't know, China is in a big mess internally. The
Hmm.
NPC has just finished. That is called two sessions. Their results are out just now, and Xi Jinping internally is not on a great wicket.
Right.
So, as a result, China is on a slippery slope. So, we'll leave it at that because we'll get back to the main thing.
Sure. So this Iran, of course, is a very important oil exporter to China. It's not importing. It's not sending out as much oil to China, right? As of now,
Not
because of
now.
the Hormuz. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, after what has happened in Kargil and yesterday, which ship will go and go berth alongside Karg Island?
Kirk, yes.
Karg Island was hit yesterday. It might be hit tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
ship will go and fill oil from Karg Island? So virtually, in a way, the Iranian oil revenues have already been hit badly.
Right.
Okay.
And China has also cut down on those drills. They're not doing military drills around Taiwan anymore.
Oh no
They're,
no
I
no!
think,
All that is gone. All that is gone. All that is gone.
conserving oil and gas. Yeah.
All that is gone. I mean, you add the internal problem to this whole story. They're in a bad shape. We have to
Yeah.
understand that. Anyway, let's get back to this place where there's a lot of action.
Kharg Island. Let's talk about
Okay.
Kharg Island, Jan Shankar. You know that I think what the US is looking for is the leverage, strategic leverage over Iran, which they've not had. So it's this one particular island that we've been talking about. It's Kharg Island. It's 25 kilometers off the coast of Iran. It's about 480 kilometers to the west of the Straits of Hormuz. It's about 20 square kilometers, as you can see. The oil terminals and the storage facilities that Jan Shankar is talking about, that those are at the south of the island, and you can see the terminals over there along the southern part, southeastern part. The northern part is where you have a airstrip, or it's about a 2 kilometer. It's a long runway there, and this island has got. It's a coral island. It's got fresh water. There's a town there also, Khark. It's called Khark. It's got a population of about 5,000 or something on that. It's a very scenic, picturesque island. I've seen pictures of it. Very picture postcard. It's a coral island, like I mentioned. Now, this is the big thing. It is through which something like 90% of Iran's oil flows out of. It's literally the world's most precious tap, you can call it. It's not a storage thing as much as it's a tap where all the oil pipelines from under the sea come here to Kharg Island. And those of you who are old enough to remember this, during the Iran-Iraq War of 1980 to 88, this island was relentlessly targeted by the Iraqis. They flew multiple bombing missions, they attacked them, after which the Iranians put in a lot of defenses on this island. There's anti-missile, there's anti-aircraft batteries, guns, there's a IRGC naval base there. But the problem now is that with Iran's naval capabilities being crippled, something like 60 ships have been sunk, Iran's ability to resupply this island from the sea is in a problem. So my sense is that, and General Shankar, you can weigh in, you're the military man here. If the United States does a boots on ground operation, uh, they could occupy this very quickly. And that is one reason I believe the Tripoli is headed towards the Persian Gulf. It's like we discussed, 7 days away, 7 to 10 days away. It could come here, it could launch an operation, capture the island. What are the chances of the US using this island as leverage against Iran to open the Straits of Hormuz?
Look, that's a threat. That's the only threat which will make Iran come to line.
Right.
Because Iran is militarily done, economically short, and their
Yeah.
only source of revenue is oil. And if that
Oil. Yeah.
is taken away from them, they're done. So
Right.
this island is very important to. Iran. It's not only important to Iran; it's also important to USA. Because
And
if
it's important to us as well.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, no, no,
yeah,
we'll come to that.
yes,
If USA takes over this island and gets hold of the oil,
yeah,
they laugh their way to the bank. Okay,
hmm,
and the thing about this island is it's approachable at any given time. They've got it's there are deep water berths for about 10 ships at a time.
yeah,
So for USS Tripoli to come alongside and mount an amphibious operation is not a big deal.
yeah,
So it's vulnerable. And
right,
by the time the actual Tripoli comes in and does any action out here, I'm sure the defenses of this area will get degraded badly.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So this is a great vulnerability which US has lashed on to.
right,
But the counter to this vulnerability is with Iran. That is the
hmm,
Strait of Hormuz. After all,
right,
right, they have to sanitize that Strait of Hormuz for Tripoli to enter this area.
enter, right,
Okay. So they have to, which means that this will be a two-stage operation in which first secure the Strait of Hormuz.
yeah,
And the Strait of Hormuz itself has a lot of islands,
yeah.
which
Some 40 islands or so
yeah,
total, right?
okay. And they have to sanitize those islands and actually physically take them over.
Okay,
That part of boots on ground, I think US can do. And I
right,
would say that even US can put a few boots on ground on the other side, on the north bank of Hormuz also.
okay,
It's not out of question. The moment they put that, they'll draw people in,
right.
Iranian forces in. And also there'll be a diversion, and they might even nudge Pakistan to do something. We've not seen this game plan coming out so far. But I'm giving you the vague ideas of how it has to be done.
Hmm,
And then when they're confident enough, then they'll push Tripoli and a few supporting ships through, and then take Karg Island.
right.
Uh, right? Of course, there's another way of doing it. The other way of doing it is US has got enough forces on in the Gulf itself. They got
GCC
enough bases
countries,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
10,000
right.
or so, 10,
Yeah, yeah,
15,000 is what they're
yeah.
saying.
They would have enough amphibious capability,
Right.
right? They might show the Tripoli there and mount these marines,
Yeah.
and do a vertical
From Kuwait, you
envelope.
mean? Kuwait and Israel, yeah.
Yeah,
So
or
it'll be
any
like
one
an
of
air
them.
land
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
air sea
it's only
operation.
50, 60 kilometers, no, from there. It's
Yeah,
hardly any
yeah,
distance. So they might
right.
come from the top, a paradrop into this area and secure this island, and then with the
Yeah,
forces there thing. When this happens, the Iranians will be in a problem whether to react towards Karg Island or to react towards the Strait of Hormuz.
yeah,
So, and this will be limited boots on the ground.
right.
It's not that, but 1 lakh boots on the ground to do an invasion and all that. No,
This is
this will
about
be
what a brigade. This will be brigade plus.
that's it. Hey, they've got
Okay.
2,500 one group of marines, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have about 3-4 groups in that, and they would be
Okay.
ready already for this. For all you know, this might happen without the Tripoli coming in also. So don't.
Oh,
I
so that
mean,
you mean that Tripoli is actually a diversion?
see, Tripoli might keep coming for Strait of Hormuz. So
Yeah.
before that itself, you might have a air launched operation, a air insertion of marines with things like that.
That's my sense also, because this little scenario that I wrote on Thursday for India Today, I'd
Mm.
done a short analysis of this thing where I said that the first phase will be the bombing of the military facilities on the island, which we believe has already been done. They will knock out
Yeah.
all the anti-aircraft batteries, the radars, and the anti-ship missile batteries,
Yeah.
launch capabilities. They will leave all the infrastructure intact. The second phase will be a special forces raid from the air and from the sea, and they will capture the island. Then you will have the follow-on forces, the Marines and all that, coming in large numbers to get this thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's the way I look at it.
That will be first. You will have a few boots on the ground, then you will have a lot of them. And I
Yeah.
think, and Iran, because like we discussed, they don't have the naval capability to
No,
resupply
they
this
don't.
island.
It,
All the
at
defenders who are there
best,
on the island will be there.
yeah, yeah. At best, they will fire a few rockets there. That won't make much of a
Drones,
difference.
they will attack with drones
Yeah.
and
And
ballistic missiles.
even then, you see, the next thing is they will also be careful because it's their own facility which they're going to attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much they can't dislodge anyone from there. Iran doesn't have
Right.
the capability of dislodging anyone from Karg once they get in,
Yeah.
right? And that will be a great victory for America. And as this is happening, the Iranians get destabilized. After all, we're going to looking at this whole story 4 to 5 days hence. So
Yeah.
there'll be more weakening of the Iranian military capability. So the Gulf of Hormuz might also fall.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, see,
The
there are
Straits of
two.
Hormuz will open. You think? You're
Yeah,
saying?
it'll open. It'll
Right.
open up. So we'll see. This will happen. This will go on.
When do you think
Unless
Iran loses the capability to launch missiles? Because right now we're being told it's what 1,000 launchers is what they have. They have about what 3,000 ballistic missiles and about 100 launchers. So I think
see,
when that launch capability goes down, or what's your timeline?
automatically it'll happen. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't count on that. I will still say Iran will retain some capability to fire. Iran will have the capability to launch drones. Iran will still have the capability of closing the Strait of Hormuz,
Right.
unless unless it is physically stopped from doing so. And
Right.
this is where I've been saying for the past 3 days, boots on ground will be required.
Right. Right. You can't do it from
Okay,
the air. Yeah.
they can't do it from the air. You
Right.
have to sanitize the islands in the Strait of Hormuz. You have to sanitize some part of the North Bank and push anyone who's trying to launch any rocket system and all back. Right? Where exactly and all that, of course, I'm sure they will take care of it. And they need to develop a local surveillance system, a very
Right.
strong surveillance system by which anyone launching to stop the Gulf of Hormuz is stopped. And
Yeah.
mind you, in all this, what Trump has done today, many people have misunderstood. They feel that no, now he's gone to the world for asking them to join in and all. But it's a
Right.
shrewd
Right.
political move,
Okay.
a very shrewd political move. Because now he said, "You come, you want oil, please come." So they'll
Hmm.
come. Already France is saying, "I will come." France and Italy have started speaking to Iran. So they will say, "Look, if you are going to behave like this, there's no way. Come to the table." So some parlay is on. Today, Trump also said they said they want to talk and they want a deal. I'm not happy with the deal, so I'm not giving
I'm
it.
not going to give them a deal. Yeah, that's what.
Deal. So all these stories are on.
Yeah.
All these stories are on. So let us see where it goes. Okay, let me. I've said enough. What's your view about this whole story, which I've said?
I no, I am fully with you on this. I think that Trump is. I think while the initial U.S. Objectives may not have been met, the longer this war goes on, of course, this is going to be decided, like we've spoken about, is by markets and munitions. So I think markets have tanked a bit. Um Oil has crossed 100, as we discussed. Munitions, the US is interceptor things are being degraded, so I think they're rushing in supplies from elsewhere. They're denuding other fronts. They've taken out a lot of their stuff from South Korea and they're bringing it over there. So Kim Jong Un would be very happy. But I think in the long run, if the US keeps up the pressure, I don't think the Iranians can continue indefinitely. I mean, I'm not saying the regime will collapse and all that, but to some extent, by what you've said, the US capabilities, in once they enter the Straits of Hormuz, they start deploying boots on ground. Then we will see a very interesting phase of this conflict where they are trying to get those big let's say mission accomplished goals, where they can then say that this will be the off ramp for us. So it won't be just assassinating the supreme leader. It is actually capturing Iran's most valuable island or
Territory.
oil infrastructure
Most
park, which
valuable
is Iran.
territory or resource.
Yes, or resource, or to say then that okay, now I'm ready to negotiate. I have Kharg, I have these islands, I have captured all of this. Now I will force you to open the thing, or force you not to sell oil to whatever. That's
And
what
not
this
only
whole
oil,
thing.
they'll also talk of nuclear fuel, which is there.
Yeah.
You see, that is something we are lost sight of, the nuclear
Oh yeah, the
fuel,
440 kgs of highly enriched uranium.
highly enriched fuel. So all that is there. So
Yeah.
all these issues are in the thing. I go with you. Okay,
Yeah.
let me
So
now
again, very
change.
quick, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah,
Janshankar.
yeah, go
Very
ahead, go ahead,
quickly,
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
just 30 seconds. The four discussion points at the beginning of the talks with Iran were, we must list those because these will now come up in the
Yeah,
off-ramp talks. The first one was the nuclear capability to be capped. The second one was to hand over all the fuel you have enriched, that's 440 kgs of 60% HEU uranium. Third one was dismantling Iran's ballistic missile capability to launch 2,000-kilometer long, missiles. I think that will also be up for discussion. And the fourth one is the axis of resistance, which is all the way Hamas, Houthis, Hezbollah's,
yeah,
Qatar Hezbollah, and all that. So these 4 points, just for the benefit of our viewers, are just listing it because these will come up in those
yeah,
talks that will follow.
yeah. Now let me ask you. I'll go on a tangent, and in the India Today conclave, we saw this, like you said, the Israeli ambassador, the American ambassador, and the
Yeah,
Iranian
Iranian
ambassador coming
ambassador.
from.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Was there any sense, off stage? Did they meet? Did they exchange any
No,
pleasantries,
there-
or any moves to
nothing, nothing. There was,
that?
there was, they were all, at different parts of the day. The U.S. ambassador was on Friday. The Iranian ambassador was on Saturday, the first half. The Israeli ambassador was in the second half. So I think there was no opportunity for them to meet or even
Mhm.
cross each other in the corridor, or no pull asides.
Okay,
But
okay.
it was interesting. I think the high point of this conclave was the fact that you managed to get so many ambassadors and so many international perspectives. And because you're in the middle of a conflict, everybody, I was just thinking back in the day when Iran-Iraq war would take place. It would affect us. Not it would affect us, of course, because you had a diaspora there, you had our oil coming in from there, but then we were not a big economy then as we are today, and we are more critically dependent now. We have a bigger diaspora, of course, we have other interests, and plus we have a 24/7 coverage of the war, and everybody wants to know. So the kind of curiosity that's there also is much bigger than what it was in the first tanker war, tanker war 1.0,
Yeah,
which was 82, 88. So in a sense, there are lots more questions people want to know. Uh, my housing society here in Delhi, where I live, we had a cooking competition yesterday, which has been called off because we said, look, in the middle of a LPG crisis,
LPG crisis.
you can't have a cooking contest, so let's postpone it to when there are better times. So everybody is being affected now. The people on the ground are being affected now. And I think one of the most interesting parts of the conclave, India Today conclave on Friday, was we had a very interesting discussion where we got the all the editors of India Today magazine for the last 50 years, starting from T.N. Nayanan, Prabhu Chawla, Swapan Dasgupta, Raj Chandappa, of course, Arun Puri. So they recreated a editorial meeting, all these old editors sitting together and say, what is our cover for the next week going to be, right? So I think there were different perspectives, and I think the consensus was that we want a story from inside Iran, like what is going on in Tehran, what are the Iranian people thinking, and all that. But I think the one big thing that I would add to that discussion is the fact that no one spoke about the USA, right? Because I think this is the first time in the 21st century that US infrastructure is being targeted this way.
Yep.
uh, and people are, Saddam did that to some extent in the first Gulf War, where he targeted a few bases, and
Yeah,
his
that was the initial.
missiles were not, yeah, Jan Feb, he fired about what 80 odd Scud missiles. Some fell here and there, and Saudi Arabia and Israel were his targets. But Iran has done that on a far bigger scale. I mean,
Yeah, there's a reason
Saddam
for it.
launched 80, and Iran has launched over in one night. They've launched 800 projectiles. So
Look, there's a reason for it. I mean, you have to understand. I think here, because there's no threat on ground,
Right.
Iran could do what it wanted to do.
Okay. Okay. That's an
There's no threat
important
on
point.
ground. Whereas, Saddam was fighting on his soil, he's fighting for survival. There was a
Right.
full fledged invasion. In this,
Right.
you have already told them we're not going to come. So he's
Right.
hidden all his launchers, he's bringing them out one by one and
Disperse
firing,
them. Yeah. Right.
disperse them.
Right.
And he's dispersed them in places which you don't know. It's a big country,
Yeah.
right? So how much can that brings us to the next thing. Despite satellites and technology, yeah,
Yeah.
all that, they have hidden everything. No amount of surveillance will stop the opponent from doing what he has to do. So
Right.
that's what Iran has done.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not surprised at the outcome of this. I knew from day one
Right.
that they'll get hit. And now they're suffering that pain, which, and they're learning.
Right.
Americans being Americans, they're learning. They've now got on to fundamentals.
Right.
The
Right.
fundamental is, yeah, you have to capture ground.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that is important. Okay, let's getting back to that conclave with a
Yeah.
question which
Yeah.
I wanted to ask.
Sure.
Look, apart from all what is this thing, what is the general mood, the international mood? Because a lot of ambassadors came and a lot of, these three ambassadors didn't speak together, didn't meet,
Yeah.
nothing. But
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
is the general mood of the global, I wouldn't say the global representatives here?
No, I think the general mood was like the German ambassador, for instance. He was saying like, "You guys launched a war, you didn't tell us about it. You took us completely by surprise." I think that is the mood even on the Indian side. That like, look, you just launched a war where 2003, the war was based on faulty intelligence, or it was possibly designed to be that way. That it was fake news. That whole thing of Saddam having WMDs, Colin
Yeah,
Powell going to the US and waving that little bottle, if you remember, that ricin, that they have this biological this thing and all that nonsense. And this one happened to be on some this thing that Iran is launching missiles that is going to target the thing. Therefore, this was a retaliatory kind of thing. And willy nilly, you have taken the whole world into this thing because you didn't anticipate that Iran will now fire at all the GCC countries. They are targeting. I mean, Dubai. It's very sad. We met. I met some businessmen from Dubai who had come in there for the conclave, and they were very unhappy. They said, "Look, boss, Dubai was made on this entire thing that there will not be this war. We will not be targeted. A lot of Iranian money was being parked in Dubai, right? That is something that no one's been talking about." And now they're hammering Dubai. It's the real estate market is going to go down 2 years. It's going to take Dubai 2, 3 years to recover from this, because a lot of people don't know that Dubai has actually been hit harder than Israel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, even now it's Dubai.
Yeah, it's Dubai and UAE. I mean, that's a very big blow to them, and people have missed that point. Israel is, well, the people are resilient. You have the world's most impressive missile defense array in Israel. Dubai is not seen this kind of. They have interceptors. They've invested in that, but they've not seen this kind of conflict.
Okay, let me ask you another question. What's the strategic surprise of this war?
I think the strategic surprise is the resilience of
Okay,
the regime and B of the people.
okay,
Uh, I think that is the one big thing. See, I think when you underestimate, people make a lot of assumptions based on missile numbers and capabilities and what you. We should find out a way of looking at the resilience and the will of a regime to fight. That's a very important metric to bring into account. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
think
think
that is
you're
the
valid.
big surprise. Yeah,
That's a strategic surprise. But can I add one more to it?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's the Strait of Hormuz. No one expected the Strait of Hormuz to close.
No, I think, General Shankar, right from the beginning, Iran has been threatening that from day one.
Yeah, but no
They
one
said,
expected it.
well, because I think they were all thinking that, will
Arey
they
ka-
be able to do it?
Now they've done it.
Yeah, they've done it.
Now done it. They know you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
You see, you don't know what to do, and look at it a little over the hill. You see, at the end of the day, when the curtains are drawn on this war, Who will control Gulf of Hormuz?
The Straits of Hormuz will be controlled by. I think it will. The US will invest in forces there.
Where
Uh,
okay, if the US has to invest and put control the Strait of Hormuz,
yeah.
will that happen from Iran soil?
Uh, Assuming the regime survives, then there's obviously no way that you can,
No way.
put boots on
So
them.
if this
So it'll
regime
be
is
on
allowed,
Oman,
yeah. So this is the strategic surprise I'm coming to.
right?
If the regime is allowed to surprise, Iran will always have a handle on closing the Strait of Hormuz anytime in the future.
Right.
If that is not taken care of, the rest of the world has lost.
So, okay,
Just think, I'm now giving you something completely so far no one has spoken of it. I'm talking of it.
right,
From hereafter, Iran knows that look, if this regime survives and there's a drawdown immediately and all that, Iran now is very confident that it can close the Strait of Hormuz anytime,
right.
and all of us are at hostage to Iran hereafter.
Yes.
Do you get out of it? How do you get out of it?
So
If you
countries will
don't
then
get
do
out
this.
of it,
Yeah,
let me give you take it further. If you don't get out of it, you have to defeat Iran militarily.
yeah,
I mean, this is a strategic surprise which we are faced with today. You don't know
right,
what to do next,
right, right.
right? So Iran, even if it loses, it will win. If today Iran loses, says, "Okay, I've lost. I'll come to all your deals," Iran will still win because it has control over Strait of Hormuz.
Right. But then I think all the countries, and this is not a 1 year project or a 2 year project, countries will invest in moving away from the Straits of Hormuz, build up Plan B and Plan C.
Yeah, the Plan B and Plan C is IMEC.
IMEC and
IMEC
to
and
go,
pipelines.
yes,
See, there are only
and
two
go via
things
the
out
Red Sea. Yeah.
of IMEC and pipelines out of the Red Sea, and that will take
Yes.
10 years,
10 years. So
right?
those are long
And
term plans. And
long-term
that's,
plan. But till then,
yeah.
Iran still has handle.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a major thing. Iran will still have a say in world affairs, global thing. So I mean, I just thought I'll put it across. This is the point
Yeah,
which I've been
absolutely. No, it's an
thinking
important
of,
point. And
right?
we haven't seen the Houthis yet at the Bab el Mandab, which is the other
Babel.
choke point.
Yeah.
So the Iranians have
So
three, there are
yeah,
three choke points, the Iranians control two.
well, it's the. I'll put it this way. Everyone did expect Iran to show a lot of spine and
Yeah,
stand up. We didn't
yeah,
expect them to stand up so well. That's a strategic surprise.
that's right.
But
Yeah,
equally, this is the one which is coming. Everyone talked of, oh, they've hidden the nuclear stuff and the regime change. Yeah, well, that's the expected thing. But this is the hidden issue which is now coming up. It's been playing in my mind from evening.
okay.
You know, uh, and as far as Iran has agency on the Strait of Hormuz, it will always have it's that's the importance of Iran. You can never wish it away.
Yeah, yeah. As long as
Anything,
Iran stays, the regime stays, they
yeah,
have some residual military
yeah, and they'll build it back.
capabilities, capacities. They will come back. They'll spring back.
They'll spring back, and this strait will give them the strength to come back. Because I'm
Right.
sure in days to come, this will gain traction with their minds, and that's
Yeah.
why they've switched to the Strait of Hormuz and closed the oil story so fast,
Right.
right? And of course, we'll see how. Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you see the global scenario, China, Russia, the other things going? And then we'll talk of USA, what it has achieved, not achieved.
Sure. I mean, so China clearly, like you
China, we've,
said,
we've discussed.
we've
Let's talk of
discussed.
Russia and India also. And what is
Russia
your
has
sentiment?
bounced. Russia has bounced back in a sense because they can now sell their oil. They're making $150 million a day because they've been allowed to sell oil. So they're coming back. Russia-Ukraine war has gone off the table. No one's talking about the Russia-Ukraine war, but I think the Ukrainians are back at least at the tactical level
Yeah,
because
with
they
the
are now
anti-drone.
with their drone interceptors and the ability. So Zelensky has sent all his people there to the Gulf. They are deploying those low-cost interceptors, Shahid interceptors. They're teaching them how to intercept it. So that's been so in a sense there is a linkage between these two conflicts, current conflicts, Russia, Ukraine, and West Asia,
Yeah.
Iran, US, Israel.
Yep. There's no doubt. There's no doubt on that. And the EU, I think EU is also smarting from the fact that Russia has been let off the hook. So you find that there's a dissonance between US and EU.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And what is your sense you got in the conclave about where India is going? Is India on the right track? Where do you see? What
I
is the
think
sense you get?
I think India's our diplomacy is be quiet. I mean, there's been some criticism whether the prime minister should have visited Israel at the time that he did, just 2 days before, operations, one day before. That kind of thing was there. But I think we played our cards well. The Iranians are letting our ships through. I think we are in a situation now where we are friends with everyone here in this conflict. We don't have enemies in that sense. So
Yeah,
whether it's
that's
the
an
US,
important thing.
Iran, I think we're friends with everyone, and in that respect, I think our investments have paid. So there are people who are saying that, oh, we should have taken a more aggressive stance when the
What for?
US ship had torpedoed the Iranian submarine, the US submarine had torpedoed the Iranian ship. Well, that's the US would have targeted them wherever the Iranian ship
Yeah,
was. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
gone
yeah.
to Africa for an exercise and come back, they would have targeted them there. It just so happened that it was their misfortune that it was here, it was coming back home. And if you ask me, the captain should never have even sailed out towards Iran. He should have immediately pulled into some Indian port.
No, I believe he was told, don't go back, you stay in Vishakhapatnam.
Yes, he
There
should
were
have just
three
stayed
ships,
put.
all three ships were given the chance of staying back there.
Yeah, but why did he have to charge into the battle, and knowing it's such an unequal fight, because you
Yeah,
don't realize that Navy is, see, it's once you have a Navy in the thing, which is the most powerful Navy the world has ever seen, which can destroy your ships at the flick of a button, they don't even have to feel. It's like shooting fish in a barrel for the US.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Iranians never had a chance. So anything on the surface now is being, freely targeted. The only thing that is escaping are the launchers and the missiles, because those are being hidden under the ground. You can't hide ships underground, unfortunately. So that's the that's the thing, and
Yeah.
Iran will not have a navy. It will not have a air force. It will be a very unique thing where a country of its size, you can imagine, country the size of Iraq and Afghanistan together is like Afghanistan. It doesn't have an air force. It doesn't have a navy. So
Yeah, but well, the things are different. The only thing is Iran has a capability of bouncing back.
yeah, yeah,
So we'll because of its
sure.
oil and
But the
fundamentally things
sanctions
are,
will continue. No? The other thing is that even if the regime survives, it
yeah,
will
sanctions will
continue. The sanctions will continue. That what has been going on for 47 years, that is not going
yeah,
to be lifted in a hurry.
yep,
So that thing, it will be difficult for them in that sense. They have oil. I mean, but here is a case of oil becoming a resource curse of a different nature.
yep. So we've covered a lot of things. Can we take
Yes,
some questions, or unless
absolutely.
you
Yes.
right,
No, no,
unless you
please.
feel
We have
okay, well
covered
let's
the.
take yeah main things. So first, Jignesh Shukla says is Pak playing a double game on CPC, giving Iran drones, China oil, and letting US fly out of air bases. If so, what can be done strategically for us? You think Pak is playing a double game? Pak always plays a double game.
Yeah, it's always. It is available for sale to the highest bidder. So
Highest bidder. So there's nothing much in that story.
yeah.
Um right. But look, Pak is stuck. I will talk of Pak tomorrow or day after. I've already done. Pak is like there's a cartoon which is going around in social media.
It's unfortunately
The
very
dog,
vulgar. Yeah,
well,
it's being
where the
pulled
dog
in
is
multiple
uh,
directions. Yeah.
multiple directions. Okay, so Park is in a bad shape. They really can't do anything. And if you
Yeah.
read their own analysis. I'm not. You forget about all these cartoons and all. You read their analysis. And today I was reading. They're in a very bad shape. And for all viewers, join in tomorrow morning in the update. I'm going to cover Park as a separate story because we can never take our eyes off Park. You can take your eyes
Yeah.
off China, but you can't take your eyes off Park.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Okay.
what's your? You think that Park will come in if the boots on ground is option is
Look, they
exercised?
say push comes to shove, they're very clear they have to side with Arabia, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi
They don't have
Arabia.
a
Okay.
choice.
Right.
They don't have a choice.
Hmm.
Okay, they can hedge, and they also know if their arms are twisted, they have to act.
Right. Which means
Okay,
send in forces,
whatever,
disguise.
whatever. Yeah, whatever. Okay, but that's how it is. Okay, General Sir Sandeep ji, Russia, Ukraine, US, Iran, India, Afghanistan, Pak, the kind of wars going now. I have one simple question: what is the definition of victory these days?
Good question.
Yeah, you see, let me put that in the context, then you answer. See, gone are the days when, like in Bangladesh, you went, you surrounded the thing, you got a
Yeah.
surrender, and then you declared victory and you made a state, and that kind of victory is over. You know, that kind of a story is over today. And today is a day in age of non-contact warfare, violent, indeterminate times, and hardened positions, ideological positions. We are talking of all these ideological positions,
Yeah.
right? And things are not going to get over. In this kind of a thing, the notion of victory itself is, uh, kind of hazy.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's not military victory which counts. How much political mileage you'll get at the end of the day is what counts.
Hmm.
And largely these days, irrespective of the fact whether you got political mileage or not out of this whole story, then global narratives also, spin your story to say whether you got a victory or not. So there are a lot of factors in this whole story. So I think the whole story idea of victory in a war is sort of hazy, and
Yeah.
it's up to what the nation feels internally, whether and the people of the nation feel satisfied with what their government and their military has done. That's the real victory.
Yeah.
Your view on this?
Absolutely. No, to just to add to what you said, General Shankar, that if you look at it, I'm only looking at the 21st century now. Um, the two victories that we've seen in the 21st century are the US invasion of Iraq. I'm not going into the ethical dimension of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Unjust. It's a completely unjustified war, right? They had no business invading Iraq. The It was a mission accomplished bumper sticker and all that Bush held up. It was a war because Saddam Hussein's forces were routed on the field. The regime was toppled. Saddam Hussein was captured. He was executed. So, in that sense, it was a military victory. And just 2 years prior to that, you had Afghanistan, which
yeah.
had sheltered the Al Qaeda. The regime was attacked, and with very minimal forces, special forces, and Northern Alliance, the Taliban were routed and they were chased out of Afghanistan, Kabul. Right. So, in that sense, in 2 years, you had two victories for the United States. Right. But then, when you look at it, were these enduring victories, or what happened in Afghanistan? 2001, 2021, right? You spent $2 trillion, thousands of service personnel lost, Taliban 1.0 replaced by Taliban 2.0. So was that a victory? Or that was a tactical victory because the Taliban, by virtue of being there on the ground, the strategic victory was theirs, if you look at it. Saddam Hussein, well, you can argue that the Ba'athist regime has not returned. Saddam Hussein's descendants haven't come back. And the character of the Iraq thing has been that the Shias have taken over there. So the Sunni Arabs are out, but they are in some form in the government or so. So, in that sense, I would say that 2003 was the only long lasting US victory, that they have bases in Iraq, they have some say within Iraq, So that. But I completely agree with you that unless you are able to launch these kind of ground forces, ground invasion, topple a regime, do that surrender ceremony, mission accomplished, all of that, the notion of victory is if you spin, you win. That kind of thing,
Yeah.
I would.
Hey, that way, look at it. Afghanistan, not Afghanistan, Venezuela was a victory for the US forces. All said and
No,
done. The way they,
that is, yeah. Well, actually, yes. Venezuela also, again, as unjustified as that war is. I mean,
that's a different story.
it is. He has captured the country. He has got the president out, and he controls the regime. Has not been toppled, but the regime is now in favor of the US. They're doing what the US wants. Cuba is also coming
Yeah, yeah.
online.
Cuba is a major victory. I mean, look,
So it is, yeah. It's not happened in. I mean, just imagine that. Um, Donald Trump was what, an 8-year-old boy or something when
yeah, when
Castro
this
took
whole
over
story
and
started.
when it started, 8 or 10 years old. I think he's going to be 80 years old this year,
Yeah.
Donald Trump. And that's how long the Castro regime has been in power in Cuba. And today, for the first time, they're saying we are ready to talk to you because they are under a blockade. It's not happened before and they are
Look,
very weak.
and yeah, and that, I mean, that's a full credit to USA, whether we liked it or
Yeah,
not. The fact that they have made Cuba bow down to them.
yeah,
And with that, the last bastion of communism in
yeah.
that area is gone.
Is
I
close to
mean,
collapse. Yes.
yeah, this is another factor which I thought I'll put across to everyone. You see, China was supposed to be the fount of communism
Yeah,
globally, and for China, Cuba was a very major, bastion of communism. Outboard,
yeah,
whatever you call it, that's gone. There's no communism left except China and in Vietnam.
yeah,
See the beating which China has taken ideologically. It's a great ideological failure. Cuba falling to USA. I mean, in this entire story about all this which is happening,
mm.
Iraq, Iran, and all that. We've forgotten one thing. The Cuba just said, "Say, I'm hands up. I put up the white flag after
Yeah.
70 years," and we missed
Canal,
it.
yeah. Yes.
You
Yeah,
missed it, right? And it's not a mean achievement. Which
yeah.
and Chinese say fighting without win. What winning without fighting? Hasn't
Winning,
this
yeah.
chap done it yet?
Yeah, he has. So, in a sense, that Monroe Doctrine or whatever they call it, the Donroe Doctrine, which is the
It's
Trump
working,
this thing, it seems to be working. Yeah,
working.
they've
Whether you like it or not, it's worked.
cleared his
Okay.
backyard. He's
He
yeah,
cleared
he's
his
controlling his
backyard
backyard.
completely.
Yeah,
Greenland virtually is in his pocket,
yeah.
right? He is also split Russia and China. Understand this.
Hmm.
They might not have split fully as enemies, but there's no friendship left between the two of them.
Why is that? When do you see that happening?
Look, Russia is already in the dollar economy. Why will he get out of it?
Okay.
He'll now say, yeah, why do you need me to stabilize your global oil? Yeah, whoa, and Putin will talk his way through with. Why do you think they met at Alaska? They have a
Okay.
basic understanding. So he will ditch Xi Jinping and he will tell this Xi Jinping, now you buy oil from me at $100.
Okay.
Okay, then he'll ditch. So that's a great thing which Trump has achieved.
Hmm.
Whether you like, I mean, I keep saying I might not like Trump for having done what he did with Iran
You're right.
on a moral basis, all that, for many things. But I just love him for what he's done to China. Yeah, he's done. He's done everything for you. Okay,
Yeah.
he's running the ball with you. So that's how it is.
Right.
Right. Okay, let's take the next question. You okay with this? We'll go ahead.
Yes. Yes. Please. Please.
Yeah, next, Varga, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Favin, also thanks a lot for your super sticker. Yeah, in the morning you did make a remark and I did respond. I know you've been coming, but please understand for everyone. When you go to different YouTube channels and when you hear different, authors speaking and talking and writing about any event like this, you will get different opinions.
Hmm.
On that, I have no doubt. And a lot of people will have different opinions from me because I think differently. I'll be very honest with you. And ask Sandeep. Sandeep has all known me for long. He knows that I think differently,
Yeah.
right? But generally, I'm right. So I go, and my, I'm not. It's not as if one is doing something great. I just go by first principles. Take one to the other, and everything falls in place. So I want your views on this, not my capability, on the fact that, why people should see different channels and, absorb the best from them. Your view.
Yes, no, I completely agree because, and the one reason, like General Shankar was saying, and this is not to flatter General Shankar, I'm a big fan of his, but the fact is that he does tend to think differently, and most of his judgments, I mean, literally all of them have come true in one form or the other. And the one thing that I keep going back to is the fact that he said last year that at a time when we didn't know what Trump was up to, he actually said that Trump is going after China's sources of cheap oil, which is the three countries: Russia, Venezuela, and now Iran. So eh, that was a early, assessment for us, and I'm sure people in our government would have taken that, factored that into their.
We are not
Uh,
anywhere near.
Nahi, but at least to look at where the US would be heading next. So I think 2nd of Jan is when he made that statement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Venezuela, the
And not,
minute the
yeah.
yeah
Even in
Venezuela
2020,
operation, Iran, yeah,
even in 2020, when the Chinese were coming, you remember I told you that they'll not
yes,
come further.
that's right. No, it is. So in 2020, we all thought it was an invasion that China was planning and warfare and all. The General Shankar's point was that, look, I've just looked at the way they're dug in. It doesn't look like they're coming for conflict. This is just muscle flexing. They'll just come there, they'll threaten. And it was, what is the thing? Belligerent war avoidance. I remember that
Avoidance.
phrase. Belligerent war
Void of.
avoidance.
Yeah,
it's
but
a it's an oxymoron of sorts, right?
yeah, yeah, it's an oxymoron, but that's how it is, and that's how they behaved for the past 4 years.
Yes. So they
That's
didn't
their
come to
behavior.
fight you or anything.
They'll
And
not
that
fight.
Galwan, it is unfortunate what happened. I mean, we lost a lot of our brave soldiers there. But and not to trivialize that at all, but to say that it was actually a pre-planned military offensive that they planned. I don't think it was an offensive. It was just a backstopping uh, multiple border incursions with armor and artillery and infantry.
That's it.
That's what they were doing.
Yep. Uh, then it says Abhishek, thanks a lot for becoming a member for 8 months and great session. Thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah, today, today's evening's flavor of the session is different because Sandeep is there. He's brought a
Thank you.
no, I'm
Thank
not
you.
joking. They're completely different. Yeah. Yeah. This is something interesting. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Wait. What happened? Yeah, ask no public appearances or statements by Asim Munir. Why? What do you think the deceiver's next move will be? Your view?
I think he's, that. Now, okay, this is another prediction that General Shankar made last year. Is that when Munir went around promising everything to everyone, and I think your assessment at that time was that sooner or later he will have to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, now he's paying the
Now,
bill.
now people are calling, "Where are you, Munir? Where are you?" No, 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 wait. Saudi Arabia is calling him. US is calling him.
ऐसा
Maybe even
नहीं.
Israel is calling him. नहीं साहब
Yeah,
साहब बिजी है, साहब बाथरूम में है, साहब नहाने गया है, साहब कुत्ता घुमा रहे हैं.
in the good old days, if
Yeah,
you went to a hotel in Chennai
yeah.
and you had idlis, dosas, and all that, and you didn't have money to pay, people would say, "Acha, take you come and wash utensils out here now." So
No, so
that's all.
Munir is checking.
Munir is ready to wash utensils today. That's how it is.
Munir is checking out the kitchens in all the hotels.
How
Which is a better place to wash the dishes.
wash utensils. That's
पैसा
it.
नहीं है ये सब करने के लिए.
Yeah.
क्यों गया था मैं? And Taliban launched an attack on his jet. उसका jet बच गया. Second hand jet जो उसने खरीदा था.
No, no, he's going to have
Gulfstream
a lot of problems. We'll talk of
600.
Pakistan tomorrow
Yeah,
and we'll talk what Pakistanis talk. You see, it's
right.
nice to say what we feel about Pakistan. We need to understand what Pakistanis think of themselves, and it's pretty
Right.
drastic these days. Okay, the map of West Asia going to change. What will happen to US midterms? Your take on it?
I Map of West Asia is not going to
Not going
change,
to
but
change.
I think there will be some realignments in the sense that that the rupture between GCC and Iran. I think the GCC feels very betrayed by what the Iranians did to them. Uh, and the perception of US invincibility, it's been there are cracks in that edifice that have appeared. The US having 19 bases there, the Iranian ambassador again repeating what he said at the conclave, India Today conclave yesterday. He says that there are 19 US bases there. They're all meant to. Why are they? What are they doing there? They're all pointed at Iran. So therefore, we are attacking them. Now the GCC is being caught in the middle of these two warring. Fight. They're like the grass, literally. If you can say. Two elephants are fighting. One big elephant
The
and one
grass
small
gets
elephant. The
trampled.
grass is getting trampled. The grass is saying, "Boss, what have I done? I'm getting screwed." So there will be a lot of realignments there. I think there will be a massive investment in military capabilities. Uh, some things that we discussed, they will try and figure out other ways to reroute their oil and gas out of the Straits of Hormuz, maybe via Oman or something. Oman then becomes more attractive. And the one person that we haven't discussed, maybe at some future point we will, General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Yeah, Egypt. But
Egypt
I,
is, yeah,
yeah,
Suez
but
suddenly becomes important.
yeah, but then if the IMEC comes through, it will go out of equation. Right.
Yeah, well, I think it's WIP, work in progress. It'll take 5, 6, 7 years, and by
I,
then Egypt
I don't think so. My view is it's going to come faster than that. There's
faster
no
than five
choice.
years.
See, there's no choice. Now, we've realized the situation in Hormuz. You realize the situation in Red Sea. You have to cut through the peninsula. You have no choice. And
Right,
everyone then gets a lifeline out.
right, and not depend only on the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, on the Straits of Hormuz. So
Yeah,
everyone will want this IMEC. That's
yeah.
the way I look
So
at it. Let's see
what's
how
the
it
sense of
goes.
the US midterms, John Shankar? So you think it will be a
Yeah,
Trump all the way?
see, the point is it depends on the outcome of this, how it
Yeah.
goes. And
Will he get a win
how
out of
this,
this?
yeah, very interestingly, when this whole war started, a lot of people in USA were not convinced about it. Just that 1 week, there's a shift towards Trump. More people are with Trump. And for that, you have to understand, more than China. You see, the China-America relationship has been one of uh, more of friendship than enmity, more
Right.
of competition than um, what it's more competition than enmity and
Yeah,
conflict.
yeah, yeah,
And that's how it is. After you go back into the times, the Chinese labor was used to build the San Francisco Railroad. Yeah,
yeah.
wall. Like they have
19th
they have
century.
a, they have a history. Even the way Mao was also helped by US.
Mm.
The US was the one which made China what it is today.
Yeah, of
Mao
course.
US helped the nationalists before this. US helped.
Yeah,
You go back in time also.
yeah,
So
yeah.
US China have a relationship which is deep, and it's
Right.
not conflicted. It's not a relationship of conflict.
Right.
Whereas Iran and USA have a relationship of conflict going back from the time in 1953 when Mossadegh
Mossadegh,
uh,
yeah. Overthrown.
was overthrown and
He was the
assassinated. Yeah,
first successful operation of the CIA.
CIA. So right,
The regime
plus
change in
the
Iran.
whole lot of things: Iran-Iraq war. Then you
Mm.
had the Gulf War. Then shooting down of aircraft. The Beirut
Yeah,
bombing of the
yeah,
U.S. embassy. People losing. There's been deep enmity between these two countries.
right.
So to that extent, whatever is happening with Iran, in India, we might not understand the depth of this relationship or the depth of the feeling between USA and Iran. But people understand. And
Mm.
that's why I see the graph shifting towards Trump. Notwithstanding what Democrats, what these left-leaning newspapers talk, people on ground are leaning towards Trump. And if Trump gets partial victory, he's through. That's my way. I might be wrong completely. I mean,
Yeah,
I might be wrong. Okay. That's how it is. Then he says, Tech CA, thank you both. Hope to see Sandeep more often. Yeah, every
Thank you.
Saturday we'll be here.
Thank you.
Every
This
Saturday,
Saturday we'll be back. Yeah.
yeah, next Saturday onwards. Every week, Saturday morning, we'll talk at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, then it will be on Sunday like this. Either we
Yes.
tried to do it in the morning, we couldn't, so now we're doing it. Okay. Then thought provocator says victors, losers may be different from those fighting. Yep, I agree with him. Your views, and then we'll close it.
Yeah. Victors, losers may be different from the. You're talking of the present conflict.
No, any conflict, people who have lost also have won. Like Vietnam, the militarily they lost,
Yeah.
but actually,
So in this case, if you look at it, with Iran, I mean, Iran has to just keep fighting, and
it's a win for
they,
them.
yeah, it's a win for them. The regime has survived. They have survived the overthrow of the assassination of the supreme leader. They've continued fighting for 15 days, and if they continue, there is some kind of a off ramp. Then they have won. I mean, if you look at it
Yep.
that way, and the U.S., despite its $1 trillion this thing military budget, they've not been able to impose victory, a decisive victory, or a regime change in that sense. So in that sense, Iran has won on a bigger scale than the US has.
Yeah, that's it. So
Yeah,
I think we've had a great session today, putting everything in a wrap. Your final comments, and then we'll close it.
absolutely. No, so it's a great thing, and we've picked up some of the threads looking forward what's going to happen in the next week. Karg Island, of course, is one that we've covered, but the fact is that they are heading towards some kind of an off ramp. And as General Shankar mentioned, it looks like a week, 2 weeks max. General Shankar, correct me if I'm wrong on that
Yeah,
assessment
yeah,
of yours. A
that's it.
fortnight
That's it.
more of fighting, and then they're going to kind of start talking and look at this thing. But overall, like you said, the map of West Asia is not going to change significantly. Both sides retreat to their respective sides, and this is the worst part of conflict here in West Asia, that there will be another round of conflict at some point in the
Sooner than
not
later.
so in the future. Yeah, it always happens. It's a cycle of conflict, and I can almost see that happening. And this present round, if I can put it, it actually began again on 7th of October 2023 with what Hamas did
Hamas.
with Israeli civilians. Then Israel went into the Gaza, and then the conflict widened. Then they came directly into conflict with Iran. So what we are seeing today, Israel, Iran, and US, is actually a sequel to that thing, the
Yeah.
12-day war which happened last year, and it's a resurgence of that. And if there's a stalemate in this round of conflict, the regime does not fall, things go on as before, then you're going to look at a resurgence of the thing a few years down the line. Again, they will come with newer weapons. The Americans will say, now we have better Shahids than the Iranians, and we have got better ballistic missiles. The Iranians will come back with something. I mean, it's a vicious trap. And but closing comments is that for everyone who said that India, look at our problems compared to the rest of the world. I mean, we're in a far better place. I think our economy is not been affected very significantly by this, and I think we are in a good place. And I think we should try and keep it that way, because uh, there can be no economic growth without stability and peace and stability of the kind that we are seeing. And with that, I think, Jan Shankar, I think we can wrap up. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for all of you for tuning in and listening to us. And we'll be back as promised on this Saturday, 6 days from now. Hopefully, there will be an update. I hope that there is going to be an off ramp, and this endless fighting ends, and we see some kind of an off ramp and some talks. There is a halt to this fighting, and we can get on with life as usual.
Yeah. With this, thanks a lot for everyone who have attended. Thanks, Sandeep, for coming.
Thank you.
Not missing this week. If not, we couldn't do it on Saturday. We've done it now, and we've got a lot of information from you on what went on in the India Today conclave. You were great on that. I saw that.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, and all of you who are watching this podcast, Get back tomorrow morning, either between 9 or 10, 9, 9:30, 10. We'll have day 16 update. Today's day
Great.
16. I'll give the update tomorrow. Till then, have a great day and enjoy, and Jai Hind to all of you.